our sentiment surveys and that sort of stuff, maybe a little bit of weakness coming through the residential market.
Some of the prices being pushed down a little bit with all the stock.
Yep. So Sam, how are you going? It's been a little bit of, it's been a hot minute since we've caught up.
Yeah, no, it's good. Good to be back in the chair.
Yeah, sweet. And so, mate, let's get into it. What have we got?
Yeah, so first up we've got some housing market data from realestate.co.nz.
Yep.
This is on the supply side of homes for sale and asking prices. And what we kind of saw was a continuation of the high level of stock on the market, with about 33,800 homes for sale at the end of April, which was about 18% up on the same time last year.
Yeah, it's just like continuation of that high stock on market.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think as for asking prices, they're slightly down about 1.8% month on month. Yeah, and it's kind of similar to what we were expecting, right, in our sentiment surveys and that sort of stuff, maybe a little bit of weakness coming through the residential market. Some of the prices being pushed down a little bit with all the stock.
Yep.
But yeah, I guess, we'll see what happens because it's still kind of not a clear trend.
Yeah. I mean, that's right, particularly that short-term data on asking prices, because they'll just be influenced by what's on market at the moment as well.
Yeah.
So, interesting. And then also in the past little week or so, we had the residential property managers bill got cut by the government, so nah, not doing it.
Yeah.
So what was the story there, Sam?
Yeah, so the legislation was previously in progress to regulate residential property managers, similar to how kind of it works for real estate agents, aiming to just kind of overall improve, I guess, the quality of service for the sector. But I guess the government's position now is that the additional red tape won't support housing supply.
Yep.
What's your take on this?
I don't know, kind of interesting. So I think our property management crews, they were really supportive of the bill. So although it means more regulation for them, I think they saw it as a way to just tighten up the entire sector, which will
improve the whole quality overall.
Yeah, no, I mean that's got to be good for professional property managers who already do a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
So they're a little bit sad about that, but we'll see. I guess it's just the government's approach at the moment, right?
Interesting.
Real interesting. So next up, this was a little bit of a tricky one to summarise, right? But the government made some decisions about proposed plan change in Wellington. So if you go back to 2022, the Wellington City Council notified their district plan change for housing intensification stuff. That went through the independent hearing process. The panel made a bunch of recommendations. And so then the timeline was the council rejected 20 of those recommendations and made some alternative recommendations. Then that went up to the minister to make a decision. And so he's come out with his decision and basically agreed with 9 of those changes and then rejected some of the other ones. It's quite an interesting case study around how that side of things will operate as, I guess, the central government starts to take a little bit more control of decision making in those spaces where there's maybe debates. But there's things like character controls, extent of upzoning in certain places and that type of thing. So I think just that real continuation of the government trying to cut down red tape.
Get things moving, I guess, a little faster,
get more housing into the market. So kind of interesting. And then Sam, so next up, right, we've got Bayleys commercial team. They've released their latest total property sales snapshot, so we figured we'd jump on that and use that for our sales snapshot. So what have we got this week?
Yeah, so first up I've got Unit A on 15 Porana Road in the Wairau Valley, and this is from Auckland's North Shore. 470 square metres of industrial premises with road frontage, tenanted by a successful coffee roaster and cafe. This one was marketed by Trevor Duffin and Ranjan Unka from Bayleys North Shore and sold for 1.92 million on a 5.57% yield, about 4,100 per square metre on floor area.
Then next up we've got 16 McKee Street, Te Rapa in Hamilton. So this is 25 industrial units totaling 1,026 square metres floor area. Individual units are about 40 square metres with mezzanine floors and they'll lease to small businesses. This was marketed by Rebecca Bruce, Jordan Metcalf from Bayleys Hamilton. Sold for 2.715 million, which is about a 7% yield, for about 26.50 per square metre on floor area.
And last up, going south, I've got 10 Fairfield Street and 6 Medway Street in Gore, Southland. 1,261 square metres of industrial commercial premises on a 3,800 square metre site, tenanted by placemakers. This property was marketed by Julie Mitchell and Luke Baird from Bayleys Southland. And sold for 1.675 million on a 6.87% yield, 1,300 per square metre on floor area.
And so next up we go offshore, right? Our global partner Knight Frank released their latest Shanghai office market update. Obviously interesting because they're a big trading partner for us in terms of China. So Sam, what have they got in that office market over there?
Yeah, so they kind of reported the market was performing poorly in the first quarter of this year, with rents reducing, sluggish demand, and a pretty high vacancy rate at 20%.
Yep.
Comparing that to Auckland, and we're kind of sitting Auckland CBD vacancy rate for office at 10%.
Yep.
Yeah, so pretty crazy numbers, and they're also expecting another 2 million square metres of new projects to complete in 2024.
Yeah, which is a huge number, right?
Yeah, and is that all office projects?
Yeah, it's all office projects, and like if you put that into context, I think the maths on that is it's maybe like 50 Vero centres in Auckland, so like 50 big towers like going into that market.
Yeah, it's crazy kind of the scale of their city, I guess, compared to here though, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I remember catching up with some of our agents in China, and they were saying that because Chinese companies, like when they're successful, they grow so quickly. A lot of the fit outs that go into the office buildings are quite basic, and they've got maybe a 5-year lifespan versus New Zealand where it might be like 10 or 20 before people like fully refresh.
Yeah.
And when I asked them about that, they basically said, if your company hasn't outgrown the office space within 5 years, then you're probably not that successful anyway.
Right,
so like they kind of designed for that.
Faster moving market.
Yeah, so just really interesting, eh? And then finally to wrap up, right, so we've got Property of the Week, Sam. So this week we're sampling from the Bayleys Hotels, Tourism and Leisure magazine, which just came out. It's got a whole bunch of hotel and leisure properties for sale. Cool. So mate, what have you got for us?
Yeah, so first up is the Waitakere Resort and Spa in Auckland. Auckland's Rainforest Retreat, a freehold going concern with 26 guest suites on 28 hectares, a boutique hotel with resource consent to develop 12 more guest suites. If you're interested in this property, you can get in contact with Wayne Keane from Bayleys Hotel, Leisure and Tourism team. Yeah,
cool. And then for me, I've got the Wilderness Lodge in Lake Moiraki in the West Coast. Call of the Wilds is freehold going concern, 28 stylish rooms on 4.25 hectares. This is located in the heart of the Te Wahiponamu New Zealand World Heritage Area. If you want to learn more about this one, contact Wayne Keane, John Greenwood or Alistair Simpson from the Bayleys Hotel, Leisure and Tourism team. Yeah, so with that said, we'll wrap it up here, Sam. So thanks very much.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
Sweet, and we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.